So imagine spending almost $6,000 on this sleek, high-tech piece of wellness gear. You're anticipating this totally life-changing upgrade.
Right, and then you realize you have to hire a licensed electrician and basically bribe 3 of your strongest friends just to plug the thing in.
Exactly. It's just wild. But welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are looking at a huge stack of sources today to unpack something that's really blowing up right now.
Yeah, extreme at-home wellness is everywhere.
It really is. And specifically, we're looking at the Sun Home Solstice 2-person infrared sauna. It's currently on sale for $5,599, down from over $6,000.
Which is a massive financial commitment for anyone.
Oh, absolutely. So our mission today is to cut through all the glossy marketing. We want to figure out, is this just a really expensive, sweaty wooden box, or is it a genuine upgrade to your health and your home?
And my role here is to really anchor us to the data. I mean, if you're putting something this big into your living space, we need to understand the hard specs. We need to look at the science behind the features and what actual customers are experiencing in the real world.
Okay, so let's start with the physical object itself, because looking at the source images, it absolutely does not look like that, dark cedar cabin in the woods aesthetic.
No, not at all. It's very modern.
Yeah, it's striking. So if you picture it, the right half of the exterior has this really sophisticated dark paneling.
Right.
And then the left half is just this entirely clear floor-to-ceiling glass door.
It looks like an installation from a high-end commercial spa, honestly.
It really does. And when you look inside, it's this bright, pristine, light-colored wood, very comfortable-looking bench, slatted backrest.
Well, that aesthetic is very deliberate.
Yes.
But the foundation of the design is actually purely functional.
Okay, how so?
The entire cabin of the Solstice 2 is built from eco-certified, kiln-dried eucalyptus.
Now, here's where I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
If the whole point of a sauna is just to trap hot air, why does the specific wood even matter? Why couldn't they just use standard treated pine from a hardware store and knock a couple grand off the price?
Right, it's a fair question. It basically comes down to thermal stress and chemical safety.
Okay, thermal stress.
Yeah, so if you build a box out of standard, softer woods, and you expose it to 150-degree temperature swings every single day.
It's going to expand, right?
Violently. Within months, traditional lumber will warp, the joints pull apart, and the wood splinters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would ruin it.
Exactly.
Huh.
But eucalyptus is an exceptionally dense hardwood. It resists heat beautifully. Its cellular structure can handle those extreme cycles without warping.
Okay, so it's about durability. You don't want your $6,000 investment literally cracking. But you mentioned chemical safety, too.
Yeah, and this is arguably the most critical point. Standard lumber and cheap plywood are bonded with industrial adhesives.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. They're treated with chemical preservatives. So when you heat those up to sauna temperatures, they undergo off-gassing.
Meaning they release volatile organic compounds,
Yeah.
VOCs.
Directly into the air, yes.
Which means you're sitting in a tiny, airtight box doing deep meditative breathing while inhaling toxic glue fumes.
Exactly. Which completely defeats the purpose of buying a wellness device.
Right.
But the eucalyptus in the Solstice 2 is kiln-dried. They use high heat to cure the wood naturally rather than soaking it in chemicals. It uses non-toxic FDA-approved materials with 0 harmful VOCs.
So you get this guaranteed clean breathing environment.
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack this, because you have this pristine, non-toxic eucalyptus sanctuary, but keeping the air clean doesn't matter if the heat source is terrible.
Right, the engine of the sauna.
Yeah, the actual hardware. So
Yeah.
the sources say this is running on 9 high-output far-infrared heaters, packing 2,006 watts of power.
And 2,006 watts is a massive power draw. It's more than double a lot of entry-level units. But the raw wattage isn't actually the most important part. The manufacturer emphasizes that these heaters are 99% emissive.
Right, the emissivity factor. I had to look this up because a lot of people confuse emission with absorption.
It's a common mix-up.
The best way I can think of 99% emissivity is, think about watering a houseplant.
Okay.
If the soil is totally dry and hard, the water just runs right off the top. That's low emissivity. It's wasting the water.
Good analogy.
But 99% emissivity means your body is acting like a perfect sponge. You're absorbing almost all of that infrared energy directly, rather than the heater just wasting power warming up the empty air around you.
That is a perfect way to put it. In a traditional sauna, the heater is basically brute forcing the ambient air up to like 180 degrees.
Which is brutally hot.
Yeah, and that scalding air slowly warms your skin. But far infrared technology uses invisible light waves to bypass the air entirely.
Oh, so it heats your tissues directly.
Exactly. It penetrates up to 1.5 inches beneath the skin. So because these are 99% emissive, they operate at near perfect efficiency.
Meaning you can absorb maximum energy, but at a much more comfortable room temperature.
Right, usually around 120 to 140 degrees.
And that deep penetration is where we get into the clinical studies and the sources. The health benefits are kind of staggering. Let's talk about weight management first.
Sure.
It claims you're basically simulating exercise just by sitting there. How does that physically happen?
Well, it's driven by your cardiovascular system trying to cool you down.
Because your core temperature is rising.
Exactly. The infrared heat penetrates deep into your core. To dump that excess heat, your heart pumps faster, pushing blood to your skin's surface to create sweat.
Right.
So your heart rate can jump from a resting 70 beats per minute up to 120 or even 150.
Which puts you right into zone 2 cardio territory. You are literally getting the elevated heart rate of a light jog while sitting on a wooden bench.
Exactly. Your metabolic rate increases, so you're burning calories. But the benefits get even more profound when we look at cognitive health.
Oh, this part was wild.
Yeah, the sources highlight a landmark study regarding dementia and Alzheimer's.
Right. It showed that people doing sauna therapy 4 to 7 times a week had a 66% lower risk of dementia.
And a 65% lower risk of Alzheimer's compared to people going just once a week.
A 66% drop is not a subtle statistic. How does sitting in a hot box actually protect your brain like that?
It comes back to vasodilation, the widening of the blood vessels.
Okay.
With that increased heart rate, cerebral blood flow increases dramatically, which helps flush out cellular debris. But there's also a secondary mechanism, heat shock proteins.
Heat shock proteins. That sounds like something out of a Marvel movie.
It's a biological response called hormesis. Basically, intermittent exposures to mild stress make the body stronger.
So the body thinks it's under attack from the heat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It perceives a physical threat, so it deploys these heat shock proteins. They act like molecular mechanics. They find damaged or misfolded proteins inside your cells and repair them.
Wow.
And since neurodegenerative diseases are often characterized by misfolded proteins, triggering this repair crew daily is incredibly protective.
That is just mind-blowing, and it applies to mood and pain, too. The sources mention nearly a 70% reduction in chronic pain in one Japanese trial.
Yes, it drastically reduces systemic inflammation.
And for mood, a 50% reduction in depressive symptoms after just one session.
It's a huge neurochemical reset. It moderates your stress hormone, cortisol, which also improves sleep.
But you know what I find really interesting is that Sun Home didn't just build a sterile medical box to trigger these proteins.
No, they definitely leaned into the luxury aspect.
They really did. I mean, they want this to be a daily experience. So they added medical-grade chromotherapy.
The LED color lighting.
Yeah, so you have different colors to stimulate different therapeutic responses. And my favorite part, the digital control panel with a 24-hour reservation mode.
That is a game changer for daily habits.
Right. You can set it so it's preheated to 135 degrees the minute you wake up. No waiting.
Removing that friction is so important.
And the audio. It's a Bluetooth surround sound system featuring Blaupunkt speakers.
Which is the exact same audio brand used in Porsches.
I mean, Porsche speakers in your sauna, you're bathed in red light, absorbing infrared waves, listening to your favorite podcast. And there's an elephant in the room here.
Let's hear it.
You're sitting inside a box with 2,000-watt heaters, LED arrays, Bluetooth, and digital screens. You are sitting inside an electrical grid.
Right.
For someone who cares about wellness, doesn't being inches away from all those electronics expose you to a ton of EMFs?
What's fascinating here is how they tackle that exact issue. Because EMFs, electromagnetic fields, are a major concern in the biohacking community.
Yeah, nobody wants to be microwaved for 45 minutes a day.
Exactly. But Sun Home uses patented EMF shielding technology around their carbon heaters. They physically cancel out the magnetic fields.
Really? So what are the actual levels?
The sauna operates at just 0.5 milligauss.
Okay, give me some context for 0.5 milligauss. What does that compare to in a normal house?
It's lower than a standard household microwave. It's lower than the Wi-Fi router in your living room right now.
Oh, wow.
It provides immense peace of mind. The exposure is practically negligible.
Okay, so the specs are phenomenal. The safety is industry leading. But, what does this all mean when you actually try to put one in your house?
This is where the logistical hurdles come in.
Because there's always a catch.
Well, the pros are massive. High-powered heating, safe materials, and an impressive warranty.
7 years on the cabinetry and heaters, right?
Yeah, and 3 years on the controls. The heaters are rated for 30,000 to 50,000 hours of life.
Which is basically a lifetime. But let's talk about the weight versus assembly paradox.
Ah, yes.
The sources claim it features tool-free assembly, but the unit weighs a massive 522 pounds. How is a quarter-ton box tool-free?
So it uses a MagneSeal interlocking system. You legitimately don't need nails or drills. The panels snap together intuitively.
But they still weigh over 500 pounds combined.
Exactly. You don't need tools, but you absolutely need extra human hands to move those heavy panels into place. It's a multi-person job.
Right. And then there's the electrical requirements. This is a hard warning for anyone listening.
Yes. Do not ignore this.
You cannot just plug this into a regular wall outlet, can you?
No, absolutely not. Because it draws so much sustained power, it requires a dedicated 120-volt, 20-amp circuit.
So it uses that special plug, the NEMA 520R.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot plug it into a standard 15-amp bedroom outlet, and you definitely cannot plug it into a 240-volt dryer outlet.
It'll just destroy the electronics.
It will. You likely need an electrician to wire a dedicated line for it.
So that's an extra cost and headache right there.
Mm-hmm.
So considering the heavy lifting and the wiring, what are customers actually saying? Is it worth it?
The consensus is overwhelmingly positive. Out of 15 verified reviews in our sources, it holds a 4.9 out of 5 stars.
That's incredibly high. People like Lance P., Kyle W., and Michelle S. all report using it daily.
Yeah, they love how fast it heats up.
And Kyle specifically mentioned how great it is not to deal with a shared gym sauna anymore. Just having it at home is a huge win.
And Howard noted that even when he had a small assembly question, their customer service was extremely responsive.
But we want to be totally honest here. There was one critique that stood out. Terry's review from June 2024.
Right. Terry had a highly stressful, unannounced delivery.
Yeah, the freight company just showed up with a 522-pound pallet, no warning.
And he didn't have the help he needed to move it that day.
Right.
He loved the sauna once it was running, but that delivery was a nightmare.
Which is a vital logistical warning. It's not a flaw in the sauna, but you have to coordinate your delivery window. Don't just let them drop it in your driveway.
You really have to project manage the arrival.
Okay, so bringing this all together, who is the ideal candidate for the Solstice 2?
It's perfect for couples or partners who want to share a session, since the interior bench is over 45 inches wide.
Plenty of room.
It's for people prioritizing long-term health, non-toxic materials, and who have a dedicated space for it.
Right, because the footprint is about 51 by 46 inches, plus you need clearance around the top and sides for ventilation.
Exactly.
And on the flip side, who should pass? Well, if your budget is strictly under $2,000, or you live in a tiny apartment.
Or you literally cannot hire an electrician to install that 20-amp circuit.
Yeah, then this specific model just isn't the right fit right now.
But for everyone else, the final verdict is that the Sun Home Solstice 2 is a beautifully crafted, premium piece of wellness tech.
It completely bridges the gap between commercial luxury and at-home convenience.
Provided you do the home prep.
Exactly. So if you are ready to upgrade your health routine, if you want to skip the crowded gym and invest in a lifetime of wellness, you can buy the Sun Home Solstice 2-person infrared sauna at the link in the description below.
It's definitely an investment, but the data supports it. And it leaves you with something really interesting to ponder.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we usually think of health as something requiring us to leave the house, right? Going to the gym, the clinic, the spa.
Yeah, it's always a destination.
But if you fundamentally alter your home environment by putting a dedicated wellness tool like this right inside it, how does that change your daily psychology?
Oh, wow.
Does bringing the ultimate recovery tool into your personal sanctuary make a healthy habit practically unavoidable?
That is a fascinating way to look at it. You just re-engineer your house so you can't fail. Love that. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning, keep learning, and be sure to check out that link in the description. We'll catch you next time.